Not long before the General Assembly, you may have heard an almighty thump as the mail came through your letterbox, and that will most likely have been the weight of this blue book. This is the book of reports that we follow during the General Assembly, which outlines the business for the week. If you have requested an electronic copy of the blue book, then your first mailing will come in the form of an email.
I'm an advocate for the electronic version as well, and we now do as a committee offer that on an ebook or a Kindle format as well. And this year I've been using my ebook and left the paper one at home, but that's not for everyone, and we will always be there offering the paper copies for those who need them. It's not a book that you should be scared of. It certainly lands on your doorstep with a thump, but it's a book that if you take it in little bits, you begin to get a true insight of what the Church of Scotland is involved in, not only in our parishes and in our nation, but throughout the world as well.
You will also receive a smaller volume called the Order of Proceedings, which outlines the order of business for the week, day by day telling you which committees and councils of the Church will be reporting. It also contains a very helpful list of those who are attending the General Assembly as commissioners. Furthermore, it contains any supplementary reports, which are late reports submitted by councils and committees which weren't included in the Blue Book, and also the standing orders for the General Assembly, which are basically the rules by which we conduct our business. Each day during the General Assembly, you will receive in your pigeonhole the daily papers, which are colour-coded for the different days of the week. The daily papers include an outline of the business for the day, the items for daily worship, the minutes of previous days' proceedings, and also any notices of motion that have been put forward by commissioners in advance. The Blue Book outlines the reports of councils and committees, and they are printed pretty much in the order in which the business will be taken during the General Assembly. Each committee's report is divided into two sections. First of all, there is the deliverance printed, and those are the recommendations that each council or committee is bringing to the General Assembly, asking the Assembly to approve future policy. The report itself outlines the work that the council or committee has been doing during the year, and also more fully specifies the recommendations that they are bringing to the Church. We're now going to look at a debate taking place at the General Assembly, and as an example, we're going to use the report of the Legal Questions Committee in 2016. To begin with, it is the moderator who calls for the report of the committee in question.
General Assembly calls for the report of the Legal Questions Committee, and I call upon the convener, George Cowie.
The committee gather at the table at the front of the Assembly Hall, and then the convener has 15 minutes to speak to his or her report.
Legal Questions is one of the Church's smaller committees. Its members include people who can advise on...
After the convener has finished speaking, the moderator will then call for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Cowie. Do you have questions?
It's important to remember that a question should be a question. It should be as succinct as possible, rather than being a lengthy speech at this time. Always introduce yourself with your name and number.
Moderator McCulloch, 93. My question is, for those charges which became vacant, which were granted permission to call within the last year under the old Act, do they get automatic uplift or must they claim it?
Mr. Cowie.
I think it could be safely assumed that it should be automatic, but I would defer to the clerks.
While the appointed moderator for the year chairs most of the debates, there are times when former moderators step in during the day. When the moderator feels that questions have come to an end, it's then time to move to the deliverance.
We come now to the deliverance. Number 1, to receive the report.
Each section of the deliverance is put to the General Assembly, and people can comment or debate these
Number
as
3.
we move through the report. Many sections of the deliverance go through without debate. You may hear a gentle tapping of feet as commissioners approve this in the customary way.
And number 8. We have amendment in the name of Mr. John Mahan.
An amendment is a minor alteration which doesn't substantially change the form of words being moved by the convener, but which may make a minor adjustment.
And therefore, I have just a slight amendment under Deliverance 8 that we, after the words, together with the Ministry's Council, insert the words, to undertake a widespread consultation with all ministers, and thereafter to review the Ministry Act, and so on.
If you are proposing an amendment to the deliverance, then a written copy of this must be presented to the clerk's table in advance, preferably written on one of the specified sheets. This is essential to allow your notice of motion to be shown on the screens in the hall. If you know ahead of time that you're going to be proposing an amendment, then ideally submit it 2 or 3 days beforehand. This will enable it to be printed in the daily papers, and commissioners will be fully aware of what you're proposing.
To undertake a widespread consultation with all ministers, and thereafter to review the Ministry Act, and so on.
Any amendment which is proposed to the General Assembly must be seconded.
Seconded. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any discussion on this?
After the proposer of an amendment has spoken, the moderator will then call for debate. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to speak for or against the amendment which has been proposed. Following that debate, the mover of the amendment will be given a brief right of reply, and then the convener of the committee will also be given a right of reply. It is at that point that a vote will be taken, and the Assembly will either pass or reject the amendment.
Those against the amendment? Thank you. The amendment falls. Deliverance as in the print at number 8. Agreed.
When a section of the deliverance is being considered, a commissioner could also move a counter-motion. A counter-motion is different from an amendment in that it substantially changes the proposal being put forward by the Council or Committee. If there's any doubt about whether a motion should be classed as an amendment or a counter-motion, then it's the moderator who makes the final call. A counter-motion will be debated in exactly the same way as an amendment. If there's any question about the order in which things should be taken, then the moderator will decide.
New 17, in the name of Donald Prentice.
It's possible for a commissioner to move a new section over and above what the committee have proposed. A commissioner would do this if they wish to add something which wasn't covered by the committee's report, or if they wished perhaps to give an additional instruction to the council or committee concerned.
And report to the General Assembly of 2017.
Mr. Prentice, the committee are willing to accept that.
Thank you.
Are you happy for that? Thank you. Is the Assembly willing to accept it?
Most votes are taken at the General Assembly by commissioners simply standing in their places. However, if there is any doubt about the vote, then the moderator can call for an electronic vote to be taken. Any member of the Assembly can also request an electronic vote if they wish to do so, or the moderator may decide to go straight to an electronic vote in certain circumstances.
Can we have this as an electronic vote, please? Point of order 105.
When an electronic vote is taken, the Vice-Convener of the Business Committee will explain the arrangements to the Commissioners. They have up to a minute to place their vote using their electronic keypad. When the vote closes, the moderator will announce the result of the vote and the numbers will be displayed on a screen.
And the voting is now closed.
Let me advise the Assembly 172 people voted in favour of the amendment, 405 voted against, and so the amendment falls.
When a particular
Section
section of the deliverance is considered,
2 as in
it's
the
possible that there will be more than one amendment or counter-motion
Section
put
3 in
forward
the
by
name
commissioners.
of Anita Stutter.
In those circumstances, the moderator will explain to the Assembly the
and I
order
advise you
in
that
which
the
the amendments and
convener will
counter-motions
accept
will be
your
taken.
amendment.
At the end of the debate, the moderator will always thank the presenting convener and may say a few extra words if the convener is coming to the end of their term in office.
As a church, we ask a great deal of the conveners of our major councils, and the report in the print says that you have served the Council of Assembly with extraordinary energy in the face of a huge remit and some very real responsibilities.